Hello and welcome back to episode 22. So just as a precursor, this is a voiceover as opposed to a normal recording as I do, because I pressed the mute button when I was recording the first half of this episode, so I'm having to do it after the fact. Apologies for that. I am getting better, I promise you. Okay, so where we left off last episode was we were looking to make the volcano that's on the screen now, and looks like it's about to erupt. I'm pretty sure very shortly it does in fact erupt, and we're going to use the heat from that to turn a liquid into steam. There it goes. And then use that steam to power the steam turbines. Now at this point we don't actually have steam turbines unlocked, so that's something that we're going to look at very shortly. What I do come to find out though is that to make a steam turbine you need plastic, and I totally forgot that, even though it's always been the case. So with that knowledge in foot, we then proceed to do that. So as I'm looking around at the minute, I'm just checking a few of the temperatures of the other various items, and I believe I was discussing the fact that we need to move over to the right of the map because we're very far to the left. In fact, we're on the border. We're going through the things there. Now that is the the natural gas geyser that isn't actually powering our base at the minute, so we're using the coal generators, which I'm not happy with. I'd like to use the natural gas if we can get more of it, or steam using the heat from a lava. From the lava, which should be more than sufficient. As you can see there, I'm showing that the map should go up to about where the cursor is there, and that's what I want to try and dig over to. Unfortunately, getting over there is a bit risky because there's a lot of heat and chlorine in the way. That is our cooling system that we set up with the two cooling geysers that I believe are running at about -10, and anything that's colder than 0 I'm dumping into there, whether it be items or liquid. And as you can see there, that pool of liquid there, I'm going to be doing the same. So as you can see, there is a pump in there. Is it 2? Yeah, there's 2 pumps in there, and that's all being dumped into that above, so that once that's gone, that temperature should equalize and we'll have that space to actually be able to use. The farm is fixed now. The left hand side of the bristle plants I fixed. This is our bit for the third, the yellow science, which is using the what's it called, uranium. And as you can see, I'm looking there, I realised that there's a solar panel in there as well, which is nice. That's free. I think all you need for a solar panel is glass, and we have actually got glass by accident, so we can use that. If I'm not mistaken, I think I've got enough glass to do probably 2 solar panels, and that's just free energy in the day. So, but as you can see there, the breeze water, whatever it's called, is producing as radiation and is making us move along, but it's not doing it very quickly. There is no other seeds that we've uncovered yet, so I can't increase that productivity. Normally I would have 5 in like a diagonal pattern, and then the collector in between them all, but of course we don't have that. Now what we do have is phosphorite, and lots of it. I think it's about 90 tons. That's what it uses as a fertilizer of food, so we can keep that going for a long time, and it is a passive yet slow bit of radiation for us, but it does need upgrading, and I'm sure I get to it shortly. I'm not sure what I'm looking at the minute. Yeah, we're looking at uranium, see how much I've got to see if we can increase something, because originally I was going to use but I actually decided to go with this. I've never used them before, and I didn't know at the time if they were any good, but it turns out they were actually very useful, very good in terms of productivity and efficiency. And with the amount, I think they only use 50 kilos of uranium per refill, and we've got like 2,000. So I do put 2 down there, and they are like lamps. They shine the direction that they're sort of facing, so they're facing to the right, and they do like lamp out the radiation in that direction. I didn't know that when I placed them down, but I got lucky. So as you can see, I put them 2 down, and they get built there. Everything needs power, of course. It's always about the power, and this is what we're doing all of this for, to get more power. So as it stands, we just need them to be built. And now we've got this set up, actually, it means that moving forward with all of the other items, the changes, the research that requires the yellow science, as we'll call it. I think it's applied science it stands for. The one before it's the advanced. That this setup now means that we can continue. So the researcher that we've got that's been doing all our research is kind of heavily gated at the minute, or he was, because there was no decent way of doing yellow science. And there they go. You can see the radiation coming off them, and that's now gone up to about 135 per cycle, and it only needs 100 to fire. So at least that way we're getting at least 1 fire per day per cycle. Before that it was only, I think, 30, so it's sort of 4 or 5 times better off than it was. But the breeze wart will continue to be a passive using the phosphorite. So there is a serious amount of radiation coming off this room, expected, as it's what we're farming. We are farming the radiation. So I do try and protect it ever so slightly. Above is where you can see the kitchen. Now, metal tiles, we've got lead, and lead is the best insulator for radiation. I don't have much lead. I've got enough lead to do 6 tiles. So as you can see, I do 3 there and 3 there. There is the gap in the middle, which technically is where the person stands to do the cooking. However, it actually goes in a straight line from where it's sourced, not from below. So it does actually reduce it dramatically, as you can see there. It drops it down to about 1 or 2, I think, rads in that bottom square, which is more than manageable for the duplicant or duplicants, but specifically the cook that's going to be there the most time. And that's not something that's something that we can clear up with a shower should we need to at some point. So from here it looks like I moved over to the farms just to clarify. Oh yeah, so you can see in the farm I've had to put a tile above them, which is just a normal brick tile. I'm not sure why, but one of my game loads, they decided that they were in the light, even though the light above is blocked by, as you can see I'm pointing to there, the farms. And it was working fine, but it just stopped. So I put in that, as I'm showing now, and it fixed it. I don't know why, I'm not sure how. The light does not go through farm tiles, but apparently it does. Now, I did install a mod that makes the farm tiles, doors, and the electric connector blocks, wall blocks, insulated. So whether that did it or not, I'm not sure. But the fix was simple, and I'll just leave it as it is. It's not a problem at all. I'm just having a quick look at the farms and realising that there's a couple of straggling animals about the base, and I want to just clear them up. I don't think it actually does anything, but we do need a bit of meat to do the barbecue, so that's what I've done it for. So moving forward then, we are now looking at the full base structure, and I do unlock these blueprints. I'm not really using them, but this one I think gives us a strawberry wallpaper type drywall, which is quite nice. I will actually have a look at them and see if we can use them in places. I don't really use drywall though, because that's for blocking out the atmosphere, the vacuum of space, and we haven't got up there yet. And for the buildings down below, I use wallpaper because it's cheaper and it's quicker, and it also gives a better value. I'm just looking over here because this is where the astronauts now with their spacesuits are supposed to be working, and it's not really going very quick. So I go down here and just line everything up to be a level 9 to see if I can push them. I've got a maximum capability of, I think, 3 or 4. And then, as you can see, they do come across, but they come across, do one task and then disappear, which is quite annoying. It's very, very unfriendly. They could really just do with getting down there and just get some digging done. If it takes much longer, I'm probably just going to open it up and they'll have to have sore eyes. That is the new building that I've never used before that allows you to get pyjamas from this container. As you can see, I'm going to take them out now. Then if they wear pyjamas at night time, they dream. And them dreams can be translated into something. I haven't researched it. I haven't tried it yet. We will be trying it, but I haven't yet. Whether it gets you items or whether it just gets you stats, I'm not sure. But that's something that we'll find out when we get there. Going into here, you can see I, again, don't pick another duplicant because I'm still trying to get the base sorted, and just adding people makes that more difficult for oxygen production and food and water. So I picked the slug eggs. I'm not going to be using them, but the slug eggs are the... they produce power at night time. So at night time they go and hang from the ceiling in their area, and then they produce some power, which could be useful, but it means obviously caring for them, having them in a room, feeding them a specific meal, and I don't need it at the minute. I'm more interested in sorting out my power base from the steam. So, looking around the base now, there's a huge area here, and all that area to the left that's not been dug out, I'm pretty sure I'm deciding or talking about now that it's annoying me or it's in my way. The more of this we get dug out and allow us to build a base in there. This is where we've established that we need plastic to make the steam turbines, and I don't have any plastic. I do have a decent amount of oil in containers. So what I'm doing here is building a small container where I can use a bottle emptier to empty all of the oil that we've gathered so far, because I've not found a source of oil, and then that will be put into there. From there we can then get that oil, turn it into petroleum, which is the next stage of the process, and then from petroleum we can turn it into plastic. Again, I'm getting them to hurry up here because them two duplicants got trapped in the bottom, as they do. Luckily there's oxygen in there, so they won't suffocate, but they will starve if they stay there too long. So just getting that ladder built in just to make sure that they can escape. And again, the bottle emptier there will be set to oil very shortly. And the oil you can see on the ground as little orange, or like a coppery orange canister. There we go. And I think I do actually look. There was, looking at the numbers that I actually had, and there they are, look. Looking at the numbers I actually had, I'm checking there, look, each one was like either a kilo to 2 kilos per. So that's a reasonable amount, I would say, oil that we've got. And we don't need much plastic. Again, I'm hoping that when we move over to the right of the map, it will allow us to get a source of the oil and therefore plastic. But also the side product of doing all of this process is natural gas, and that natural gas, of course, we already know is something that we're trying to use to run our base as well. So that natural gas will be immediately stripped away from the system and pushed into the storage tanks that we already have further up, and then we will use that to power the base along with the steam, whichever's needed really. This is where I decide that I want to clear this out, so I'm going to rip out that floor that's part of the auto-generated floor just to make it match. Rip out these ladders so that they're not needed at the minute, and then I'm going to put new scaffolding ladders in. I call it scaffolding because I use it for scaffolding as much as I do ladders, to be honest. But yeah, any second now you should see that I've just decided to rip this all out, and I am going to time-lapse that so you guys don't have to go through the longevity of that. It should be nice and quick for you. But just getting this structure set up, so I need to put the floor in as is, but I think again somebody gets entombed, because they're very good at getting themselves entombed in this game, trapping themselves. Even though I've got the smarter building mod in, and there we go, entombed. Very clever. So we can dig them out of there. Immediately happen, they'll pop out, and then we'll just put the floor back in. And then it's ladders of scaffold in just to make sure that they can reach all the areas of where I'm going to be asking them to dig. Trying to keep it uniformed as possible, because I am easily triggered by things like that. I'm pretty sure I go higher than that. In fact, I know I do. So that section above as well all gets taken out. And there we go, yeah. So this is all going to be dug out, and then it will allow us to put the floors across, and gives a lot of areas and options for building certain different things. There is no plan for this area, because currently the plans that I've got and the items, things and that I'm going to build are... I don't need this much space, but it's always good to get it out and have the resources in storage for using later. And it also means that this whole structure, as you can see selecting there, which is going to be the steam generation and the heat, is way away from the base, so any residual heat shouldn't affect us. It should only turn into steam, which in turn will power the base. The liquid then coming from the steam generators will just fall back in. Welcome back. So what we've got now is this area all nice and cleaned out. I'm actually going to tidy all this up as well, because I don't know what I needed that for. And then the power wires can be cleaned out there. And oh no, it's not. I need this pole, and that pole needs to go down there. There is also what looks like a liquid pipe as well that can be cleaned up. So this is a huge space we've opened up now, and again, I've not really had an idea of what I want to do with it. But what I am going to do is, I guess, put some floors in for now to replace all of these ladders. I'll put ventilation in if it's required when I need to, but at the minute I'm just going to put them in, get an idea, because we do need somewhere to do this polymer stuff. But that also needs to be a heat room. Right, this one actually doesn't need to be there. I don't want that there. And cancel all of everything that we've done. So deconstruct everything there. I want to keep these floor levels better in size, because the buildings that I'm going to be putting in them are reasonably large as well. I'll put another floor here with level with this one, I guess. And then level with this one. And then cap that there. So this space is going to be capped for now, but it won't be permanent. And then all of this scaffolding ladders can be removed, apart from this bit just here, to make sure that we can still get down and across there. And I'm sure I saw, yeah, I did. Okay, good, right. So when they wake up, hopefully we'll get some movement on that as well. But as it stands, we're going to move on to that on the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please click like. Any comments are welcome. Thank you again. Take care. Goodbye.